Good evening, one and all, and welcome to the Toon Review for tonight's Face the Lads. Of course, our version of Newcastle United's Fan Forum. Welcome to everybody. My name's Paul, and I'm with Billy and Roy tonight. Alex is somewhere gallivanting, drinking, and things like that. But he deserves it. He deserves to get his head screwed up, probably knowing Alex, and his beers flowing. But anyway, we are here tonight on this Friday evening to talk everything Newcastle United. This is your show. This is your opportunity to come on and tell us how you're feeling at the minute about Newcastle United, what's going right, what's going wrong, the Arsenal game, the recent form, and Eddie's comments this morning, which still have me baffled to this very, very minute, which we will obviously come on to in due course. As usual, guys, if you do enjoy tonight's show, please do hit that thumbs up button. Very important. We keep those coming in on the channel. And of course, if you're new and you like what you see, if you're watching this live, click the bottom right-hand corner, click the logo, click subscribe, come and be part of an incredible community here on the Toon Review as we head towards 28,000 subscribers. And of course, don't forget you can become a member of the Toon Review by hitting the join button just underneath us. And you can donate to the channel as usual by the $sign at the bottom of the live comments, which, of course, will guarantee your comment to be read out on the show. Billy, I want to pick your brains before we start the guests coming on. Yeah. Eddie's comments earlier on today, obviously I did the live show, going through the reaction to it. And there was one particular quote that really, I don't know, kind of pissed me off a little bit, in which he said that, because they weren't playing so many games, they had an opportunity to train, and that's been seen in recent performances, which I thought was absolutely outrageous to say, considering we're nowhere near at the standard that we should be.
Well, we're scoring goals for fun, but unfortunately, we're also shipping goals for fun. So whether the defence haven't got this memo yet, and midfield in front of them to protect the defence, it's a ridiculous thing to say. Actually, we were conceding not just goals to like the teams like Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United, whoever. We're conceding them to Luton, Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest. It doesn't deem good for us. And it's all the same goal. So maybe the manager needs to get himself into some, regular training and on himself and sort himself out, because he's the one making the same mistake week in, week out.
Yeah,
it's plain to see. It's plain to see where the problem is.
Roy, what did you make of that comment? Because that's the one comment that really stood out for me during the press conference.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think what when was the last time we enjoyed watching a game?
Well, I put that to the viewers, and a lot of them came back with the Man United Cup win, which in the Carabao at Old Trafford, the PSG home game.
Yeah,
but we ain't seen performances like that for a while now.
I mean, I think we played better against City than we did against Villa, and then we actually lost the City game and won the Villa one. Because we had a good half an hour in Villa, and then an hour of rubbish. And then the rest of the games, it's maybe he still thinks the fans are happy getting beat 4-3 than winning 1-0.
Yeah,
remember we used to say that before.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch a nice game 4-3.
Well, it's back to Keegan's days. You score 3, we'll score 4. I mean, that's how we've been playing in recent games, to be fair. And it's very interesting to me what's going to happen tomorrow. I can't wait till 7 o'clock to see the team first. And if we go live at 7:30, Billy, and that team's a 4-3-3, I'm going to be quite pissed off.
Well, if it goes to 4-5-1 that we suggested, it's quite easy to mask it as a 4-3-3, isn't it? So we're not going to know until 8 o'clock kickoff, and we see how they're lining up on the pitch itself.
4-3-3 will burn on the left.
Yeah, it's the players that'll be in the side that'll dictate what formation we play. So
yeah, it will be. Yeah.
Very interesting. Anyway, let's get the guests on. We might bring 1 or 2 on at the same time tonight, depending on how many guests we've got on. We are, as I say, the link is pinned at the top of the description. The live chat, if you want to click that and come backstage and await your turn on all things Newcastle. We will bring Peter on first. Good evening, Pete.
Hello.
Right.
Good evening.
Obviously, we haven't had a fan forum for a while, so how are you feeling at this present time?
I'm quite concerned with the performances as of late. I really am. I really am.
I mean, in what concerns you the most?
The way we're shipping goals in, it's coming down our left side at the back, and it's becoming quite a regular thing.
I mean, well, what would you do tomorrow? I mean, what if you were manager? I mean, what are the first things you'd do?
I get burnout. Livermento goes in for me tomorrow, and Miggy goes out, and I'll go with Murphy.
You go with Murphy tomorrow. What if we let Isaka fit? Would you keep them on the bench?
Willock will be on the bench. I can't see him starting. Isak's a funny one as well. I think he might come off the bench for this game as well.
Yeah, I mean, Billy, it's a risk, isn't it, starting Isak, even if he's been training for a full week, because it obviously, you know, that's not match fitness. That, you know, whatever goes on in training. I think sometimes when I'm listening to Eddie Howe in press conferences, Billy, it's like he's talking about the players in training, thinking it's game time, and you know, when he's saying, "Oh, we've had a good week of training," you know, I mean, he said something like the morale's up as well, and I'm thinking, where is all this confidence coming from, given the teams that we failed to beat recently?
Well, you can see it on the pitch, can't you? You can see that there's no confidence in Dubravka or Byrne from Botman, for instance. Sam Botman looks a shadow of his former self.
Yeah.
Dan Byrne can't be high in confidence because he keeps getting skinned each week and conceding goals down there.
Yep.
Martin Dubravka can't be confident because he's letting more goals than any other goalkeeper in the Premier League at the moment. So, you know, I think he's trying to cover things up really. And as for the Isak issue, we can't risk him tomorrow because with Callum Wilson out injured, he's the only striker we have available, and some really important games coming up. So, yeah, can't risk him straight away. I've got no doubt when he does come in, he'll get injured, so it doesn't really matter, really.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Pete, the start of the show there, I mentioned Eddie Howe's comment about, you know, not having to play every week and not having to play 2 games a week and things like that, and it's giving them extra time on the training pitch, which is resulting in performances. I thought that was an absolutely bizarre thing to say.
Very, very. Particularly if we're shipping goals in pretty much a lot of games now, what does that tell? That's very, very, very baffling for me.
Yep.
Well,
we'll bring Lawrence in as well. Lawrence,
hello.
Good evening. Just talking to Peter there about the comments from Eddie Howe. I mean, have you seen anything in recent games that would kind of give you the impression that performances are better because we're getting more training time, or do you think that? Do you not understand what Eddie Howe is talking about? Because I certainly don't.
Well, we've improved away from home, and you know, we're scoring a lot more goals. I mean, I think Forest was the last game where we scored less than 2 goals, but it's the defense that you know, needs work on. They need to step up. I mean, yeah, people will point to Dan Byrne, and you know, he needs drop, but then at the same time, we've had plenty of games with Byrne at left back, and done all right there. Dubravka as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's not at the races.
Well, yeah.
Right. Interestingly enough, I mean, how long can we go on? Because, you know, 3 or 4 games now, we've gone on, like, with the attitude of, you know, you score so many goals, we'll score more. That has to come to an end at some point. And I have a feeling, you know, if we try and play like that at Arsenal, you know, if we go behind against Arsenal, it's not going to be as easy as coming back against, you know, a Bournemouth or a Luton, is it?
Yeah, well, we've been scoring 2 or 3 goals on average now in the last 5-6 games, and we've been conceding 2 or 3 goals. What's going to happen tomorrow is we're going to let in 3 or 4 goals, and we're not going to score any. That's what's going to happen. I can't see any problem in our final third in the last 3-4 games. Every problem is at the back, and unfortunately, it's all at Dan Byrne's side and a bit of Botman as well.
Well, that's where the goals are coming from. There's an interesting comment here from Stephen. He says, I disagree, guys. With Eddie, we are 5 unbeaten, and there's drastically, I take it he's going to say an improvement. Well, it is, yeah.
We've dropped points in
an
games
improvement
as well.
from Christmas, yeah. And 2 games a week, although the defence are wearing without Pope sweeping. What I will say to that, Stephen, is look at the opposition. You know, look at the opposition over those 5 games. And I think one of them was Villa, fair enough. But, you know, we've played Forest, we've played Luton, we've played Bournemouth, and we've struggled. So, you know, I know it's unbeaten in 5, but if there were any better opposition, certainly the home games against...
rinsed.
Yeah, absolutely. The home games against Bournemouth and Luton, if we played like that against an Arsenal or a Liverpool or a Man City, we'd have got absolutely annihilated And that's what worries me. I mean, Lawrence, Peter just mentioned there that he would make the changes of bringing, Livramento in and bringing Murphy in. Would you do the same?
Definitely. I mean, with Isaac, I don't think I'd start him yet. I mean, because I'd rather have him and Willock for Blackburn. I think they'll come off the bench. But Shea, Botman, Dubravka, like they need to do better defensively as well, because they're better than what they've shown.
Yeah. Yano, I know what your point is there, but my point is that we've got away with games in these last few.
We've got away with games, but
yes,
points against
2 points at home to Luton and Bournemouth.
That's not good enough. And those are teams who should be beaten.
If Steve Bruce had brought 2 points over from them 2 games, he'd be getting pilloried, and quite rightly so. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I totally agree with that. And that's the point I'm making. I'm not saying, not losing the games is definitely an improvement, but is it an improvement that we're seeing on the pitch? I don't think it is. I don't think we are improving to those games that we lost when we lost 4 on the bounce. We're not playing that much better than we did when we lost those games. So yes, results-wise, slight improvement. Performance-wise, I don't think there's been much improvement there. And I want to see a big difference tomorrow in maybe, Peter, changing the formation. I mean, I don't know whether you watched the show last night and our preview.
Yeah, I did.
What did you think of that 4-5-1?
Doesn't sound too bad, does it?
Yeah.
Because in a way, we are quite light up in midfield, and we're getting drifted on the left side of defence as well. So we'll probably, I don't think it'd be a bad idea, because if we go with what Eddie Howe's, if he goes 4-3-3 and he's got Dan Burn in there, it could be a very, very long night.
Yeah. Niall's mentioning there the rumours going around about Eddie's nephew falling out with Dan Ashworth. Look, we're not getting into rumours on here. Look, whatever's happened has happened. All I will say is, again, Roy, going back to the press conference, when he was asked about Dan Ashworth, he didn't give a damn. Certainly that was the impression I got, that he just wasn't bothered. He kind of poo-pooed it straight away and said that he's just concentrating on the football side of things.
Yeah, because he can't give an answer for that, because it's not really his position just to give an answer. But no one knows what's happened there, because it could be right. Personally, I hate having family working in the same company. And maybe Dan Ashworth is either gone for the money, or he's either gone because he's not comfortable not having the power that he had at Brighton. No one knows.
It's a very good point. Peter, what's your prediction then for tomorrow?
I don't think we'll get anything tomorrow, I'm afraid. Really can't see happening. We've got a poor record down at the Emirates. Only one draw in the last so how many years now. The previous it's been defeat, and we haven't scored in almost in over 9 years is there as well. I think we'll get a goal, but I think Arsenal are going to win this 3-1.
Yeah. Lawrence, what do you make of Dan Ashworth? Are you particularly bothered that he's gone?
Not really. I mean, he could do all right for Man United.
Yeah.
But you know what it is, if he wants to go and he's agreeing to deal with them before we've agreed to deal, then just let him go. We can easily replace him. I'm glad we've put him on gardening leave. Just because I'm seeing Man United fans and Jim Ratcliffe act like we should just hand him over to them. Absolute load of rubbish. I mean, if he's as good, if they really want him, pay the money. If he's that good, how do you expect to get him for free from another club?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't like an EFL club trying to maybe get a player we're looking to offload. I would just let him go for free to save money on wages. This is Manchester United, who they call themselves the biggest club in the world as well.
I agree. What's your prediction for tomorrow?
I'm also going with 3-1 to Arsenal. Goal scorer Saka, and I've captained him on Fantasy Premier League. I actually think Burn will get a goal. I mean, which might surprise.
Yeah. I don't know whether you guys just saw that, but did you see those pigs fly over my head? Lawrence, I tell you what, mate, I want whatever you smoking right now. I tell you what,
I know it's got long legs, but to be able to reach the ball from the first row of the stand, will some business up.
Yeah, it won't mean he's not getting rinsed by Saka though. Might just be like go off a set piece, but just it's poor apart from that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, the other goal scorers, Trossard and Martinelli. By the way, I've actually said Bird because the last few away games, I've noticed centre backs are getting goals. Well, include Liverpool in that one.
Lawrence,
when Botman scored.
Listen, mate, you can give me all the reasons in the world why you think Dan Burn is going to score, but I think you're a nutcase. Peter, is your show on tonight?
Of course it is.
There you go, guys. Straight after us at 8 o'clock, nip across to PD Proudlock's channel, where you'll get Peter's football show. Gentlemen, thank you very much. We'll catch up soon. Good night.
See you later.
See ya.
So there was Peter and Lawrence. Interesting points, and right, you know, what did you make of Ratcliffe's comments? Because I think the man's an absolute. He's a. Billy, what word would you sum up Jim Ratcliffe right now?
Scum.
Right, there you go. Fair enough.
Entitled scum is at the right club.
Yeah. It's crazy comments to expect, you know, Newcastle United just to bow down to Man United. You know, they're not that kind of side or club at the moment.
I think he's just trying to curry favour with the fans, isn't he? I think he's just being like them, really.
Yeah.
You remember Jesse Lingard? Just remember what it is with Jesse Lingard. They won 15 million loan fee.
Yeah.
Exactly. Bring back Michael Knighton, that's what I say.
Oh, do you remember that on the pitch? Yeah. I don't think anyone will forget that. Paul Lindsley says, hi, Paul, I received my King Kev frame photo today. Great shows, always great stuff. Yeah, they all went out, so hopefully you've always started to receive those prizes that people won. Right, let's bring in Ryan. Good evening.
Hi, Ryan.
What's going on, guys?
We're not too bad. I mean, you're always one for speaking the honest truth. I mean, how are you feeling right now regarding Newcastle?
Oh, man. It's a bit of a shit show, I can't lie. Like, scraping past games, scraping by Forest. And then now we got to deal with Arsenal, like, backs to the wall game I expect coming up. It's not looking good, man. Scary hours for us in a bad way.
Yeah. I mean, look, we've discussed sort of Eddie Howe's, comments in his press conference. And, when I did that show earlier on today, a lot of people were a little bit kind of pissed off because, why come out and say that because of the extra training performances have improved? Why not just say, we're not quite there yet. We're getting that extra time on the training ground now so we can work on things. We're not there yet. And we know we have to be better, because that would have come across to me as if somebody who recognizes how the supporters are feeling, rather than kind of pull the wool over our eyes and say that the performances are improving, when really, we've got lucky the last few games.
Yeah, well, first of all, I haven't watched a press conference in probably since the beginning of the season. I don't watch them anymore. It's just all PR. Like, Eddie Howe at times just sounds like a robot. Like, anything important comes up, like you said, like, I mean, it could turn into a talking point like this. It's a bit annoying, and I don't like to see it. And, I think slowly I'm losing a bit of patience with him. Like, I think I'm going to give him the end of the season, but next season, he's got to deliver for me, Eddie Howe. If he gets out of 2 competitions by the end of the calendar year, no, I think that's like the end for me. Like, people could say injuries and stuff, but like, our left back situation and our right winger does not apply with this injury crisis that some fans say that we have. It does not apply.
Yeah.
I'm not having any of that. So the club needs to get a good fast for me.
It is a very good point. That there is positions that he could have changed, Billy, during this injury crisis. Like, Ryan says that he hasn't.
Yeah.
He's persisted with Dan Burn, even when, Livramento came in when Burn was injured, got numerous man of the match performances, and then he's told to sit in his ass. I mean, I don't know what kind of message that kind of sends, But then, you know, the Miggy situation, he's completely out of touch with reality. Miggy, at times, he just doesn't seem to know where he is, yet he still gets a game.
And Jacob Murphy performed well in that position while Miggy was out injured. So it's a strange one. The press conference to me was a typical manager's press conference who's feeling a little bit of pressure from up above and is trying to make the situation seem like it's a rosy one. There's no problems in the camp type press conference. I think he's getting a bit of a whisper from upstairs. Things have got to improve. And things have got to improve because the performances aren't good enough. The results might show an improvement. But we're conceding goals left, right, and centre to teams that have no right to score goals against us, if we're being honest. And that just sounds very entitled Man United-ish. But come on. Last season we finished fourth in the table. We are missing players, but the defenders are still the same four. You know, they shouldn't have to be babysat by people in front of them all of the time. And Dan Burn has to be all of the time. And that's not good enough for me.
Roy, I mean, do you agree with Ryan and Billy? Is that the situation?
Yeah. He needs to change things. He's under pressure, so it's not good enough. I can't just blame injuries. Livramento performs. The next game, he's on the bench again. Doesn't make sense. Murphy comes on, plays better than Miggy on the bench again. I mean, wait, you got the biggest one, Longstaff. Well, he hasn't got a replacement now, so we're stuck with him in the middle. So I think I've got a solution for that, which is we can put Miggy as one of the midfield three, because he does graft and give you 100% running around. Do it there because he's shit in your last in the final third, and put Murphy up front on the right.
Look, I mean, people argue saying that Miggy's a better footballer than Murphy. I just think Billy made a very good point on last night's show, is that you give Murphy a job, he will do it, and he will stick to that job in hand. Miggy, it's just head down, kick the ball and run with it and see what happens. And then when he gets to the final third, he's completely out of ideas, doesn't get his head up, doesn't look to see what's available. And, you know, 9 out of 10 times will shoot over the bar or wide. The odd time it'll go in the net. But his awareness of what's around him in the final third is literally not there. By the way, I'll just shout out to the ladies tonight. Get yourselves on. You know, I want to hear some female perspective of Newcastle United, and we haven't had any females on for a while. So let's get some women on, and let's hear what you think of Newcastle United. Don't be afraid of grizzly men. Don't be afraid. Get yourselves on. We don't fight.
Just going off Almiron, like, I think for me, you look at Owainer's duties, and a decent job or decent day at work, I guess, would be them creating chances. He creates nothing, man. Yeah. I'm sick of him.
Yeah.
Warmth was the final straw for me, and I've watched enough of him. This guy's a purple patch player, nothing more, nothing less.
Well, speaking of 6 assists in his career at Newcastle.
And if we're serious, we go get Michael Olise or Pedro Neto this summer and replace him with that.
Yeah. I mean, Wolves want a lot for Pedro Neto, but I think he's worth it. I think he's worth the money. Speaking of Muppets, evening, Derek.
No way.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Paul.
You're very welcome. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good. What happens tomorrow? What happens tomorrow? What would you do?
Well, Roy has hit the nail on the head there. We've got to listen. If Eddie doesn't change tomorrow, if Eddie sticks with the 4-3-3 that we, which is a standard 11, I will reluctantly, very, very reluctantly, start maybe taking a baby step towards the dark side.
Right, 25 minutes and 14 seconds.
No way.
25 minutes, 14 seconds. You heard it here first. Derek is starting to waver a little bit. My God. My good God. Strange things are happening tonight, I tell you. Flocks of pigs.
Paul, we just got to wait for him to see what he says about Dan Burn.
Yes, I was going to come on to that. Who misses out tomorrow?
Sadly, Sean,
You think Longstaff misses out?
Yeah,
absolutely no chance that's going to happen.
Who plays instead of Longstaff?
I mean, do we know whether he's actually available or not?
Well, it just said that all Eddie said was that Isak and Willock have trained all week.
Well, for me, if they've trained all week and if they're fit enough to be on the bench, they should be fit enough to start.
Well, that's the old cliche, isn't it?
We've been desperately lacking a focal point up front. So if Isak is fit, you start him. Hope for the best, and then if he starts to tire after whatever period of time, you take him off.
Yeah.
But he's got to go. He's got to go against this Arsenal side at the Emirates. He's got to go 5 at the back.
Why?
I love
Arsenal don't play with the centre forward as such. Their strikers all come from deep. So why would you play 5 at the back?
Would you not put the 5 in midfield, Derek?
No, I would play 5-4-1.
Doesn't make any sense tactically at all.
I would have Gordon on the right. Of the midfield 4, I've Gordon on the right, Bruno and Miley in the middle, and exactly what Roy's just said.
And Burn up front, yeah?
Miggy on the left.
Hey! Here he comes. As soon as Derek comes on, here he is, stroking the beard, drinking his beer. I saw him shaking his head in the green room.
He just wants some tips from Madeira, man. That's all he's on for.
I do indeed, yeah.
I mean, look, it's a very, very interesting situation. Look, I think we go 4-5-1. I'd rather have 5 in the middle. I really would, because I think that's where the game's going to be won tomorrow. Arsenal's midfield needs to be eradicated, and I think the best way of doing that is putting 5 in the middle or across the middle.
We're going to be careful, so that's why I would go 5-4-1. And also then, if we've got 5 at the back, it gives, guess who, a chance to move up in the midfield and let Bruno move up.
Oh, Fabian Schär.
If you say Fabian Schär, I'm putting you in the penalty box, Derek.
Well, Fabian, well, I tell you what, if Isaac isn't...
It's not going to happen, Derek. You need to get out of this bubble with Fabian Schär in midfield. It's driving me crazy. You have to let it go, like Alex has to let go of Miggy. Of Maxi. You have to let go of Schär playing in midfield. It ain't happening. Derek!
With 5 at the back, it gives him the chance to step forward more easily.
What,
That's
so still
I'm
plays
saying.
a centre back, but just push out every now and again?
Listen, if that's not fit, I would rather play Lascelles up front. There you go. We are desperately missing a focal point.
Sorry, I just thought I heard somebody say Lascelles up front.
You did,
So you want Schär to kind of do what Shelby was doing?
You know when they're doing their warm ups and training exercises, and Lascelles bowlers with the reserves. Have you seen some of his footwork? And
listen, I agree.
He's a better footballer than a lot of people give him credit for.
Derek,
and we know he can score goals, and we know he's a presence for the head, and we know he puts himself about. You know, it is. I mean, it's the last straw of the day. But I'm saying, if we're going to leave somebody isolated up front, and it isn't going to be Isaac, then let it be somebody.
Derek, I could sit on the toilet having a poo and keep you up on me, with me feet, but that wouldn't make me.
Well, no, you couldn't actually. No, you couldn't actually, and that's the difference.
Well, I could. Give me your hacky sack and sit me on the bog, and I can keep you up all day.
No, not with a football.
I feel like we need a translation for Ryan though.
But again, you came out and said we can't keep blaming injuries. Why not?
I mean, I agree with you on that one, Derek. We absolutely can.
Why we are. That's exactly why we are in the situation that we're in at the minute.
Right. Okay. But that 11 that started the game at Bournemouth last week, Derek. Right. Yeah. Would you not say that team on paper, right, should be good? No disrespect to Bournemouth, but where we want to be as a football club, right?
Yeah.
The money we spent on some of those players that started the game. We should be beating Bournemouth at St James's Park. We should not be scrambling to get a draw in the last minute. Surely, Derek, come on.
We didn't have a striker on the pitch, man.
I know, Derek, but there's other people there to score, mate. Come on.
To be fair, Iraola did come out in his press conference and say that's the best Bournemouth performance of the season. Yeah, but unfortunately, people keep having their best performances against us, which is really irritating.
Because we're not playing very well. That's why.
Found out because we let them.
It's not a coincidence.
Also, Derek, I'm going to stand by this point that this injury crisis does not apply to our left back and our right wing.
That's a very good
point. I mean,
he
he mentioned that today, didn't he? He addressed that. Somebody asked him about Tino versus Burn.
Who's your option on the right wing? No, okay, you can say Murphy. By the way, I've got no objection to Murphy. But he's only been fit for the last 2 games.
But he was fit a lot, Derek, when he kept playing Miggy, before Christmas.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
He's accumulated enough minutes now to start a game for me, I'd say now. Training hours, too.
Murphy played at Villa, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He
came
did.
On him.
No, Murphy started the Villa game at Villa Park.
Because
he did.
He played on the left, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He started. He did start.
Well, that must have been when he limped off in the last. I mean, he didn't limp off the pitch.
No, he played the next game.
But he was pulling his hamstring as he went off the pitch.
Well, he played against Man City on the Saturday.
Yeah,
I mean, look, Murphy forced the own goal against Villa, didn't he? So he did very well that game.
Ryan, what would you do tomorrow, Ryan?
What
formation would you play tomorrow?
You know what? I can't lie. I actually agree with Derek. I'd go 5 at the back.
So you two want to just
my arse. He's in the penalty box. I am absolute. What a stupid thing to say, Ryan. You silly Frenchman. Honestly, all of that.
Do you two honestly think
French Canadian? To be fair.
So you two want to give control of the midfield up for 90 minutes? And you think we'll get points?
Well, no, here's
that?
the thing. It's 5-3-2, not 5-2-3.
No.
He's not going to do that though. He'll put one up top. You know he will. You know it will be one up top.
If you're going 5-2-3, and you're playing either Bruno and Miley or Bruno and Longstaff, those two in the middle are not DMs. I don't care what anybody says. They're not. And by the way, if you do that all,
not AMs either.
You're totally wasting Bruno's talents.
Bruno's better further, definitely.
I think we all agree on that point. Yeah. But we just don't have the personnel to play with the idea.
Make some sense of this, please.
We don't have the personnel.
I'm staggered. I'm staggered.
Right, why are you staggered? The floor is yours, Chippers. Why are you staggered?
I'm telling you what, if we play Dan Burn tomorrow up against Saka is going to have him on toast. I am telling you now. And Miggy Almiron, what does he offer? 6 assists in 6 years. Come on. Do people not see the bigger picture? You can't. He's a right winger.
How many times has Saka had Burn on toast?
Yes, Joe Linton and Joe Willock next to him, and no, he doesn't.
Yeah.
But we haven't got Joe Linton and Joe Willock.
Remember who's been playing with Dan Burn. That's what we're saying, Derek. You know, he hasn't got those players available.
Hello. Back to my point.
Derek only watched the last 6 games. He's been on toast. The last 6 games, Dan Burn's been on toast. It doesn't matter who he's played against. He's been smothered by Marmalade. He's been Hexham. It's ridiculous.
Right? The only time he did all right was Villa, and then he had
anybody else feel like they're in Parliament tonight, guys? It's
Benny beat him twice, and Manny beat him twice.
And they both came and they both conceded goals.
Hang on, and then Tino came on, and they both beat him twice. And they
beat me now.
Johnny, they both beat Tino once, and put good crosses in that should both have been converted, which would have cost us points.
Oh God!
I thought Tino managed to get back to those. I don't think they got past them.
Will always beat a good fullback.
Derek, there's context.
Right, so in that case, Miggy never beats a fullback, so isn't good. Admit that now.
No, hang on, we're talking about.
No. You just said a good winger. Now Miggy doesn't beat anybody ever.
Well, that's nonsense.
Miggy can't beat an egg. Simple as. Can't beat an egg. Never mind beat his winger.
Miggy can't beat an Arabian palm tree.
Miggy does exactly what all of the balls that beat any winger running head to head with Dan Burn, very rarely gets
Skin
past
zone.
the ball.
Give a lamb.
Eric, I feel like every time Alanga, Semenyo, all of them have done it in the last 3 weeks.
Past them.
Yes, with balls over the top. Alanga, by the way, not Burn's fault.
Justin Cliver absolutely ripped him a new one 3 times as well. It didn't result in a goal, but he got absolutely skinned for it.
I'm
That
saying
was more.
he's going to get skinned once or twice. Every fullback is.
Yeah, but it's every game. It's every game now.
Listen,
I agree that every fullback will
every
lose
90 minutes, a fullback will get skinned.
Oh, 100%. If we play Tino, he's not going to win everything, 100%. Yeah, but he's going to win more than Burn is in a foot race. And that's the point. We're trying to mitigate chances against.
No,
at the moment.
the foot races that Burns loses is when the ball's put over the top of him. It's not.
Right. Time out. Derek, one question to you, right? Who do you think Saka would rather play against tomorrow? Do you think if Dan Burn plays at left back, Saka is happy, and then he sees Livramento starting, he's not as happy?
No. Why wouldn't he do it? He knows what Dan Burn can do against him. He hasn't got a clue what Tino's going to do against him.
Stop him.
And he's never skinned Dan Burn.
Yeah, but that's because we've had Nick Pope and we've had wide cover.
We've had Joe Linton there. We've had players coming back, Derek, but we haven't got them tomorrow.
Coffee injuries.
Yeah, but then we can't trust Dan Burn to do the same thing anymore. Yeah, you're right, but you're also proving our point. You are right, but now Dan Burn's not got Pope or Joe Linton. Right. Therefore, we need to change him because he can't do it on his own.
No. Therefore, we need to change the system.
Right. Fair enough.
I'd rather change one.
I am starting to dance now, so we'll get some predictions.
So you're saying that if we change Tino for Dan Burn, and play 4-3-3, the same 11, you think that will get a result tomorrow?
I'm not saying it'll get a result. That's a loaded question. I think it's a better chance.
If we play those 3 in midfield tomorrow, we'll get slaughtered. And it'll not be down to Dan Burn, by the way.
No, I think if we play 4-3-3, we're in trouble tomorrow. I
don't think we should play 4-3-3 at all because I don't think we've got the personnel available for it. It needs to be what everybody said, a 5-4-1 or a 4-5-1, because we can't match them. Too many good players.
And what I'm saying live on TTV is if Eddie does not change the system, as Paul said before, I am saying it now, I will begin to
when you say change the system, is this the 5 at the back? Is that what you meant? Yeah.
Yeah. Change the 5-4-1. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Yeah, but who's going to be your furthest left wing back?
You think Burn will start, Roy?
No, I would have Tino left wing back.
Burn.
Your scenario is put him as a centre half.
He's always said Burn goes centre half. He's always said that. To be fair to Derek, he's always said.
Well, I agree with you. I don't mind if he's a centre half. That's fine. That means we've got both on the pitch.
Yeah, but a centre half with a wing back. So you can call it 3-5, 3-6-2, I suppose, if you want. I don't know, but I would go with Tripson, Tino, outside of Shaw, Botman, and Burn. And then
not terrible. I think that would be fine.
And then Lascelles up front.
Well, no. Well, I'd rather have Lascelles up front than Miggy or Miggy or Gordon.
Listen,
Gordon. If you put Gordon up front on his own, you're wasting his talent.
Yeah, I agree with that. Right. We've got other people coming on. Ryan, what's your score prediction?
1-1. It'll be the same. Well, not the same scoreline, but it'll be the same result and same kind of game. Just like last season, backs to the wall.
Interesting.
You gotta hope for a draw against the Gunners, man.
Hope so.
Fair enough. Yeah. Derek, what's your prediction?
1-0
to Newcastle. Nice one. And who's going to get the goal? If you say Dan Burn, I knew that was coming.
Dan Burn.
You are a devious man.
I mean, we'll lose 10-0 based on Derek's because 3-6-2 means Dubravka's is part of the back line, so we're buggered.
Yeah, maybe.
So-
Right,
Well,
Derek.
don't start on Dubravka either again, mate.
Derek, Ryan, we'll see you hopefully next week, and hopefully we'll be celebrating the win in the cup as well. But we'll speak then. Take care, guys.
Ciao.
Jesus wept.
So there is Derek, and there is Ryan. Very, very interesting conversation as per usual. I'm starting to dance, so you know the time has come to move on with the show, because when I start dancing, I'm losing the plot. We'll bring Paul on. Paul, good evening.
That was absolutely wild to listen to. Good evening.
Well, hey, it's you know that's what it's all. Doing things a little bit differently this week, bringing a couple of people on just to get a bit of to and fro and going. People who disagree with other people, so it's kind of working that way rather than bringing everybody on. So I saw you shaking your head at a few things there, Paul, in the background. I mean, what were you particularly not happy about?
I don't know. There was lots of nodding and shaking from me there. Like Lascelles up front was a weird one. Can't lie. Like that was very strange.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Billy, you went very quiet.
I couldn't believe what he was saying. I just picture, can't you? And Lascelles is through 1-on-1. He's only got the keeper to beat. Oh, and Bertie May has took himself up from the ground and managed to catch up with him.
Listen, I think guys. I mean, Chippers. First of all, what formation would you look at going at tomorrow? Would you put the 5 at the back, or would you put the 5 in the middle?
I'm tending to do both in certain situations, i.e. when they attack, have a back 5, and then when we go forward, you can possibly push people up again. For me, I would start with a 5-man midfield, then go to a back 5, depending on defensive duties. And for me, it all depends on
who's going to be the guy that changes that. Is there going to be one set guy that drops in or out, or is it going to be flexible on both sides?
Well, you could play Livramento as for some reason I'm agreeing with Derek on that side with a wing back where he could push up a bit into midfield and then have him going left centre mid.
He's the guy that changes it from a 5 to a 5 depending on which side
if he's comfortable doing it. Trippier can do that on the right side as well, I suppose, because we've seen him with Forrest going into centre mid in bits, couldn't he? So we'll just have to see. But
I mean, Paul Matt Egan makes a good point. Craig Hope, I've seen this before, reckons we're going. He thinks we're going 3-5-2 tomorrow. I mean,
what was he now? This?
Who would you stick up front though?
Well, I mean, we looked at that last night, didn't we, Alex? And we sort of looked at it and thought maybe, Gordon may be alongside Isak as Isak's fit, but if Isak's not fit, I don't want to take a risk on Isak. I really don't. Yes, he's had a week of training, but we know what training is different.
But if he starts, he's only going to play 55.
He might not even make that. Yeah. Let's be honest.
It might take him off at half time. Maybe the consensus is to play 45 minutes. But then
would you be confident? Would you be confident, Paul, playing 2 up front tomorrow, even though one of them is not going to be a striker?
Gordon and Isaac, I would stick up front if anyone.
Would you play Gordon sitting off Isak?
Like a bit of a false 9, yeah. I'll play Gordon as that. Honestly, I was thinking like a 4-2-3-1, if anything, tomorrow.
Interesting.
Who's
in what positions?
It would most likely be Longstaff and Bruno as like the DMs, and honestly, I think Willock's probably fully fit and ready to play. I think he's
Miley in this shape.
Yeah, I think Isaac and Willock's probably been training longer than Eddie's letting on, because he likes to leave surprises for the big games.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, there's rumours that Anderson might be on the bench as well tomorrow. So,
I'll probably start him over Longstaff, to be honest.
Yeah. But Anderson's been Anderson's. I mean, look, I agree. I think Willock has been training a lot more, and Roy, Eddie. There has been times where Eddie Howe has kind of slipped up in his press conference saying that Willock's been on the grass, he's been doing this, he's been doing that. So I think he's been doing a lot more work than I think we probably know about.
Yeah, he's not going to give any of his show his cards out. But the other thing is, he's never went and put a player that's been missing for ages on Sunday and start him. So it's done the gradual bit. And with Isak, I'd rather not start him tomorrow. Just give him Maybe keep him on the bench for the second half or something, but try to protect him because you don't want to lose him again.
Do you not think though? And it's probably a good point. If Derek said, and he made a good point, and I sort of agree with this. If they're fit enough to be on the bench, then they're fit enough to play football. So I'd rather start them and bring them off later on in the game. What is the point of holding them back? And I'm not saying I disagree with you here, but I'm just sort of playing devil's advocate. What is the point of holding them back?
It's an emergency situation, isn't it?
Yeah,
running against tired legs as well.
You bring them on when we're like 2 or 3-0 down. What's the point of doing that, Billy?
Well, I'll kind of go the other way. I think you play against fresh legs, there's more chance from getting outpaced and pulling something. So I'd go with it coming on slightly later in the game against tired legs, which might level the player field up a little bit.
And you want them on the bench, even if they're not fully fit, Paul, because you might. What do you want Willock on the bench instead of Hearns, so that Willock can come on and get?
I was going to say our bench tomorrow could be. Our bench could look the best it has in.
Yeah, God knows you might not even want to sub them on, but in an emergency, if you bring them on for 20 minutes, they'll get minutes in their legs and hopefully not get injured.
I can see both sides to this, and that's what I mean. I mean, because go on.
There's one bad scenario here, right? Is if Isak starts, he gets injured and go and gets his 10th yellow, and the same with Bruno gets booked, and then you've got Willock who could possibly come back and pull something.
Disaster.
That's
like a lottery, that, isn't it?
Right, you need to turn around 3 times, touch the ground, and say a prayer, because that is.
Hey, I've been in hospital for 4 hours today, so I've had no.
You deserve it with that comment. Jesus, man, that was
that is unbelievably kind of you to say that, Alex. My God, I mean, you don't even know why he was there. Are you making a comment as bad as you are cynical, man?
What have you done?
Umbrella.
Cut me hand on
an umbrella.
He's got stitches in his hand, Alex. I mean, he could have gone in with heart problems or anything, and you're
not meant to do that.
You deserve to be in hospital for that.
He's probably played 5 minutes in a black and white shirt. It just seems to happen, doesn't it?
Well, it's just the truth of what could happen if Arsenal get at and players get riled up. We haven't got a Joe Linton to fight back really, so I have to put a foot in. That's the only problem. I would have if Joe Linton was fit, if Joe Linton was fit, I would have had him starting, and I would have gone straight on and have it straight away. And went there, you can sunshine. We're in this game here, so but we haven't got that.
I want to keep him on the pitch.
Yeah.
I have got a question for Paul though.
Oh,
you want to go for a 4-2-3-1?
Which Paul? Oh, that Paul, the hooded one.
I mean, I can ask you as well, Paul. But a 4-2-3-1.
He won't listen to me, so you may as well answer the other one.
Well, is that not? Do you not think that's a bit brave away to Arsenal? Do you think we've got the physicality and technicality to play that kind of open shape against Arsenal away from home right now?
I think we've got the ability to play against anyone. It just fully depends on who plays. Like if this 4-2-3-1's assuming Willock and Isaac starts, and I think Willock and Isaac are the key to unlocking Arsenal's defence.
Yeah. Do you not think we would need a Joe Linton and a Toon Army
possibly
to make 4-2-3-1 work? Do you know what we do?
Yeah.
Do we not need a bit more quality to make that kind of?
But at the same time, you've still got that 5 in midfield as well. If you got Murphy on the right, he's a more defensive player than Almiron, so he'd get back and do the job that's asked. And I think Gordon's got the tenacity to get up and down the pitch as well.
Yeah, but I feel like a 4-2-3-1 is when you're controlling games and when you've got that pressing intensity. I don't think we've got that pressing intensity at the moment with who's available, and I don't think we've got enough quality to control the game either. I mean, realistically, what's your expectation for actual possession percentages tomorrow? I'm guessing like 25 or 30% to us. So playing a 4-2-3-1 with that little of the ball, we're never going to be in that shape ever.
Yeah, but are we ever going to be in a 5-4-1? It's going to be like
we'll be in a 5-4-1 for most of the game, and then it's basically if we get the ball, everybody needs to look up and find Gordon. That's basically. I know you hated it because I said it the other night. It's exactly what we did when Maxi was here. It's look up, find the left winger, ping the ball over the top. That's exactly how we're going to play. Yeah. Billy agrees with me. It's exactly what we're going to do.
Yeah,
Where's
Billy
Gordon?
might agree with you, Alex, but there is no need to keep mentioning Maxi in every show. He left.
True. That's what we're going to do.
Gone.
It's exactly what
we're
going to do.
By the way, Maxi's second in stats.
Oh, you can shut up and all caveat.
I think I would be first if I win in that league.
After Ronaldo.
Yeah, listen, if I was playing over there, I'd be up there in the top 5, man, for God's sake. Chippers, what's your prediction?
You know what? I'm not predicting anything until I see that team lineup because I don't know if he doesn't play Dan Burn or Miggy. Who knows? If he plays Dan Burn and Miggy, that's going to be a very, very long night, and it could be 3 or 4. It could be ugly. You don't know. I would like to go for a draw as a positive to say, well, because they've had a game 48 hours ago, so they might still be, if it was a physical game with Porto, so they might be tired. You don't know, but
I've got a stat for that as it goes.
Oh my God, Billy with a stat.
In the past 20 Champions League games, Arsenal have won 16 and drew 4 after they played a Champions League game.
Oh well.
So they're good.
Forget what I've just said then. Forget what I've just said
thank
completely.
You, Billy,
just
for wearing your
tear it
Grim
in the
Reaper
bin.
outfit tonight, buddy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Remember,
Chippers.
historical game data means nothing.
Chippers.
Stats are there to be broken.
Yeah, Chippers, you've got to make a prediction. That's the rules of the forum.
I'm going to say 3-0 Arsenal, unfortunately.
Right, well, thanks for coming on, buddy. We'll see you next time.
See you later. Good night.
Dan's joining us. Dan, good evening.
Hi, Dan.
Good evening, guys. How are we doing?
Well, we're all right. Davey, I can see you waiting as well. What did you make of that? What have you made of the show comments so far?
I've only got your stream thing up. I've loving the show so far. It's been a right crease up for me.
Well, what have you made of people's opinions and players playing where and formations? And
I thought we got to be careful with opinions on here. I didn't think we were allowed them.
You're not.
You cheeky twat. Get on with it.
Right or not?
No, I mean, I think ultimately tomorrow is going to be a right hard game. We know it is. We're not in any good shape whatsoever. We just, like they said, we're shipping goals left, right, and centre. We're going against historically one of the best teams in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And like, despite the fact we took 3 points from them last time, they're going to be coming at us with everything they've got.
I'm bringing Josh in as well, guys, because he's got a bit of a funny internet connection from Philly. So, evening, Josh.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Not too bad. What's your thoughts?
I just wanted to speak more general. I know I was a little late, so I kind of missed some of the beginning, but I just feel like there's a lot of negativity right now in general. And I understand it, where no one's happy with what's happened in the Luton game. I mean, I walked away from my TV for 10 minutes because I was so angry when that 4-2 goal went in. I thought it was over, and then I look at my phone 2 minutes later to see it. So I get the frustration, but
yeah, I took the dogs for a walk.
It was both Luton games.
Yeah, I actually missed the first Luton game. I was traveling, but yeah, that one was equally frustrating. But you know, I don't think anything has massively changed since last year when we were doing great. The main thing is the luck of the ball in a couple situations and things like that. And I feel like it's been kind of the curse of we got Champions League last year, and now everyone's become spoiled brats, and they're mad when it's not. You know, I think if we
That's you told Alex.
Well, that's completely true. I agree with him. Everybody is throwing their toys out of the pram. I predicted, I think 8th or better would be okay this season. And loads of people were saying we might win the league.
Yeah,
like
I said 10.
Right, hang on. Right, Paul, I just want to get your prediction before we say good night to you. Thank you for joining us. What are you saying tomorrow?
I'm always positive, so I'm going to go 1-0.
And who's
if Isaac and Willock start?
Who's going to score?
Isaac.
Get in. That is a very good prediction. Paul, thanks very much. We'll speak soon, matey.
I see you later, lads.
Take care. Right. So, can I just make a point here? You mentioned there about being spoiled brats, right? But I don't care what anybody says. Me as a Newcastle United fan, with the side that we've put out in recent games, I would expect to beat Luton and Bournemouth. I don't care what anybody comes at me with, I would expect. And that may be being entitled or whatever. It's not really being entitled. It's looking at your team against the opposition team. And the team that we put out in those games, I would expect to win. And not to win them, I am extremely disappointed. But that doesn't kind of make me a sort of crybaby over it. Because you see what I mean? It's kind of... I don't want to sound like an entitled Man United fan because that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you look on paper at the 11 players that we put out for the starting lineups, no disrespect to those teams, I would expect us to win those games.
Fully agree, and that's where I'm saying, like, it becomes a fine balancing act between being disappointed in those individualized things and not also taking into effect the bigger picture. I mean, Derek, as we were all laughing at a little bit, said some crazy things, but I think he also had some logical things in there. You cannot forget about the injury situation.
I don't think anyone is, but the fact of the matter is we're conceding the same goal week in, week out, week in, week out.
Yeah, and to be fair to Billy, Billy's made that point for weeks now, that it's not so much, it's not so much anything else. It's the same goal that we're conceding, and that's
Can we bring up a point
thing.
in that? Because it's not been mentioned tonight, and it needs to be. So Eddie Howe was asked that in the press conference, and he said it's not as simple as just one personnel change with Tino for Burn. It's because that would obviously disturb other tactical elements of the setup. He didn't use those exact words. I'm paraphrasing, but he mentioned that it's not just down for a like-to-like change, and that does disrupt things tactically. There are other things in play, which is kind of what we mentioned. I don't know if he's frozen or if he's just holding himself very still. I think he's frozen. Yes, he has. We've mentioned that, though, that he has tried to address it tactically, and it worked a bit. But then the problem is you only need a couple of goes against Dan Burn, and it's doing damage. So,
Josh just had a dodgy connection. Josh, try and get on next week, mate. We'll speak to you next week, buddy. Are you really trying to wind me up with that comment? I mean, come on, Jesus Christ!
Not again.
3 years ago, I'd still expect to beat Luton Town, for Christ's sake, even with Steve Bruce in charge. Well, maybe he's not. That's pushing it like that. That's pushing it. Steve says teams have targeted our left side for a reason. Absolutely, they have. Look, I mean, Dan, what changes would you make tomorrow if you were manager?
Sorry, Paul, I'm going to annoy you now, but I'd go 5-2-3. If he's adamant that Dan Burn has to be in the team for tactical reasons, I'd move him on the inside and still have Livramento on the outside on left back.
But wouldn't that cripple us in midfield, though, Dan?
We are crippled in midfield. We've got three players in a lot of the time.
If we played
barely even present.
Yeah.
Well, we tried that formation. The last time we did, it was Bruno and Tonali next to each other in pre-season.
They don't work together very well, though. I don't think.
No, they were only given 2 games.
Yeah. That's what I mean. They need more time together to see whether or not that'd work. But we know we're going to be put under the cosh together tomorrow. So we might as well take what they've got and then hit him on a counter.
Right, what do you think of the 5-2-3? Would you think that's risky or does it make sense?
No, I would go 3 at the back, 3 centre backs. And if Lascelles is fit, I'll replace Burn with Lascelles. I'll have Livramento on the left.
Take Burn out altogether?
Altogether. It's too slow. It doesn't add anything to the team. At least Lascelles, we've seen him. So
interesting.
I'll have Livramento on the left and Trippier on the right. So it could be 5 or could be 3. And then I'll drop Longstaff as well. And I'll play Miley, Bruno, Barnes, Miggy. And then I'll have Gordon up front. So it's 5-4-1 or 3-6-1, whatever you want to call it. But we need to pack it in the middle. And we can't use Burn on the left against Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard. We're going to get battered tomorrow.
Hello, everybody. Wave at Davey. Davey didn't know he was on. Everybody, good evening, Davey. Davey's our final guest of the evening. Davey, I know you've been looking on from behind the scenes. What's been said? What have you agreed with, and what have you not agreed with?
Bit everything really. With regards to formations, I think it doesn't really matter what we see. Also in games throughout the season, we've seen nearly everyone's suggestion come to fruition, like in play. Like the other week, we've seen Trippier play as like a bit of a number 6 for 20 minutes, and then reverted to the sort of 3 at the back with him running up the wing, which kind of pulls it into a sort of 3-5-1-1, whatever. I just want to bear what I was coming on for. I was talking about Dan Ashworth, actually.
Okay.
How long has he actually held the job for?
Well, before you do that, Dan, we'll just get your prediction, mate. What's your prediction for tomorrow?
If we turn up like we can do, I reckon 1-0. If Isak is fit and he is ready to go, I reckon we can score a 1-0 win.
You reckon we can keep a clean sheet?
I reckon we can do.
Wow. Hey,
I'm more likely to reckon it's going to be 4-2.
Right. Fair enough. Thank you for coming on, Dan. We'll catch you next time, matey.
See you later, guys.
Go on then, Mr. Brewis. Take it away with Ashworth.
Yeah, just on about Ashworth. How long was he at England for, the England setup? I don't think it was very long, was it?
3 years tops, wasn't it?
3 years tops. Brighton, what was it? Good 2 years or something?
2 or 3 again. Yeah.
Doesn't tend to stay at places very long. I get that's what you're getting at, yeah.
I mean, I think we should have seen that and thought, wait, he's just a bed hopper, really, you know?
Yeah, well, other people have said that, Billy. It is, for me, certainly with Newcastle United, Billy, and we've said this before, it's a project, and coming into the project, you get all the information of where we want to be, where we're going, things like that. And now he's only been here a very short space of time, and there's no way that project has been followed through. And you kind of think, well, what's the point? He's
going to go to Man United with a lot of information on us and Brighton.
Well, he's behaved poorly, hasn't he? I mean, if he was approached by Manchester United, what he really should have said was, well, you need to approach the club first before we can come to any kind of decision. And he didn't. He just said, I want to leave, which to me is totally wrong. It shows the character of the man, if you ask me. And he has got lots of knowledge on the club, lots of in-depth knowledge that if he leaves to Man United, it's going to put us on the back foot. So, yeah, I agree with the Guardian League totally. I don't want to see him go for the money.
There's an element that's not being discussed here. A lot of people keep attacking us about how we just did it to Brighton, but I think our model is very different to what Brighton's is and was anyway.
Yeah,
they weren't going for 60 mil Tonales and 40 mil Gordons. That wasn't their model. We've still retained that model. We're trying to bring in sort of Yankuba Mintes and stuff like that, but our model's very, very, very different anyway. So I don't think I don't think it's particularly disturbed Brighton too much.
Well, no, but we did it properly. He was.
But it would disturb us. Even if we do this properly, though, it would disturb us because they would be going for the same sorts of players. They're fishing in the same pond. Brighton and us weren't fishing in the same pond because they were trying to fish in Wonder Kid FC and they were trying to pull sort of value out of players, whereas we were just going for we were going for the next step up. Your Tonales were already very high profile. Your Isaks, your Botman. So we were going for different types of players anyway. But Man United will be in that same pond. So this affects us a lot more than it did in terms of what we did to Brighton. It's completely different.
But right,
I'm expecting to put
go on, David.
BBC 2 on Sunday night, Gordon as well, and watching him prudent.
Yeah, I know.
Charlie Dimmock's tomatoes.
Yeah, he's done plenty. I mean, right, he's just not followed the project through, and it kind of pisses you off. But there is, again, it's sort of playing devil's advocate to what Alex has just said. There is other Dan Ashworths out there, if not as good or better.
Yeah. You look at the guys at Man City, Liverpool, Dortmund, Ajax. There's all these clubs are doing what Brighton used to do, and the same as the England setup. If anything, I think he's learned from them. There's hundreds of people out there.
I mean, look at that guy we featured the other night on the show. I mean, he's gone down a massive hit with everyone that watched. So, get him in now. He's very impressive.
And for me, I think he's just joined the right club for him. Complete bellend, joined a bellend club.
Yeah. We don't hold Man United in much regard. So tomorrow, Davey, what are you going for, mate? What's your feelings?
I've agreed with Roy before. I think Lascelles coming back in and going to a back three is a good shout. Obviously, I think Dan Burn just needs to take out the firing line altogether. Like the longer he gets left in, the worse he's going to get. And the worse our results will take a tumble, I think. And so Livramento in. Mickey, do I want to stick with him? He does a lot of work, but he's getting
Davey didn't come up with that.
No. He's one of these days. One of them is going to hit the back of the net.
Yeah, but
you can't miss that many and get into that many good positions and miss them all the time. But I like Murphy's. He wants to go down to the byline, Murphy, which is what, like, if you're a centre forward, that's what you want to see. Because there's no service if you're cutting inside. There's no direct sort of service coming into the box.
Yeah.
Predictions. I'm going to go for a high scoring game, and I'm going to try and have me positive head on and say a 3-2 to Newcastle.
Okey-doke. Right. Well, thanks for coming on, Davey, and we'll catch you next time, buddy. Take care.
Well, cheers, lads.
So there we go. That concludes the Face the Lads tonight. Been a very, very a very interesting show. Lots of different opinions, as we usually have on here. But I like the way that we get a couple on and have a little bit of banter between them if they disagree with it. Even Billy gave up tonight, which is very rare. Just sat back and listened in with his new clean-shaven face, of course. But there you go. We will see what happens tomorrow. It is an extremely big game, as it normally is against Arsenal. I think it'll be very, very physical early doors. I think Arsenal will try and come and win the game very early. And we have to be on our mettle from the get-go. Roy, what's your prediction for tomorrow?
I've got two. So I've got my heart prediction and I've got my brain. My heart says we're going 2-1. My brain says we're going to get battered 5-0.
Oh, Jesus.
Because I think come 8 o'clock tomorrow, it's going to be Dan Burn on the left and a back four.
Billy, if we play a back four tomorrow and he plays the 4-3-3 and he plays Dan Burn and Miggy and we get a Tonkin, is Eddie under pressure?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, I'd agree with that as well.
And for some reason, I think that's what's going to happen. And it's just going to be the same 11 as the last game. Exactly.
Jesus.
And sometimes I think, okay, we've got a result. We beat Forest or Villa. We've been absolutely rubbish, man. And Saka now. Just look at Salah and look at what Walker did to Dan Burn. How many times they had long balls towards Salah in that game against Liverpool?
Yeah, I mean, people are talking about how well he's done in the past, but again, we'll reiterate that was with different players in the team, who could defend for him.
It was Willock and Joelinton helping him.
We don't have them, but hey ho, we'll see what happens. But thank you very much for watching tonight, guys. It's been a great show tonight with a lot of strong opinions, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. Me and Billy will be with you from 7:30 p.m. For an 8 o'clock kickoff with Matchday Live, of course, with full match build-up, team news, and then, of course, play-by-play commentary of the game tomorrow at the Emirates. Alex will be joining us at half-time and full-time for his analysis. And then, of course, there'll be the match reaction podcasts on Patreon and on YouTube straight after the game. But listen, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you to Billy, Roy, and, of course, Alex. Thank you to the forum guests tonight, and thank you to everyone out there for watching. And we'll see you again at 7:30 tomorrow night. In the meantime, enjoy your Saturday, and we'll see you tomorrow.
How are the lads and lassies?
Come back and check out